This is likely the most anticipated upgrade in 2024 within the Fujifilm community. Ever since October of 2019 there hasn't been a new xpro camera and people are really longing for it. For a long time there have actually been rumors and speculations that the xpro line might be discontinued. But it has come out that the successor to the xpro 3, the xpro 4, will be released in the first months of 2024. Today I want to go over what changes and new features Fujifilm might implement into this new camera. Firstly, and this might be the most controversial change, but I'm pretty sure they will implement this. The xpro 3 has this inwards facing, only downwards tilting screen, and I think the xpro 4 will not feature the screen anymore. And with the xpro 3 had this cool mini LCD on the back of this inward facing screen that you could change to show different information like the film simulation you're currently using. But I don't think the xpro 4 will have either of these features, and there have been a lot of speculations from people that the xpro 4 will have a three-way tilting screen just like the X100V does, for example, that is almost flat in the camera body. But I also don't think the xpro 4 will feature this screen, but instead I think they will actually go with a flippy screen just like you have on the XH2 or the XT4. And to be honest, I think a lot of people would dislike this change, but I think it's the best way to satisfy both customer bases. Firstly, the one that preferred the inwards facing screen that the xpro 3 featured, and secondly, the people that prefer the three-way tilting screen. Now, I know the xpro line is not a video but a photocentric line, but the ability to completely shut the screen and only use the OVF and the EVF, but also using the screen just like you would on a three-way articulating screen, is a feature the flippy screen can provide, and this way catering to both of these bases. And then I think there are some changes that are fairly obvious. Firstly, the xpro 3 didn't feature IBIS, but as all the top-of-the-line cameras of the Fujifilm X system currently do feature IBIS, I think the xpro 4 will have this feature as well. Secondly, as the xpro line is a photocentric camera line, just like the XH2 and the XT5, the sensor will likely see the upgrade from the X-Trans 4 sensor with 26 megapixels to the newer and better 40 megapixel X-Trans 5 sensor. If the sensor gets this upgrade, the autofocus should also be in the same level as the XT5, and at that point the camera will likely feature the X Processor 5 as well to be able to handle all of these new features. Another thing I think they're gonna change, just like I mentioned in another video about a new generation of the X100 series, I think this camera will bring back the Dpad on the back of the camera, as a lot of people were quite unhappy with the xpro 3 missing this feature. The missing Dpad gives the camera an overall cleaner and better look, but honestly, not featuring it, people are missing out on so many different things, not just easier handling menu, but also 4 function buttons that you can easily assign to anything you want. And then also I would expect a couple of upgrades that are rather obvious. Firstly, a higher resolution EVF. Secondly, the bigger battery that was introduced with the XT4. Thirdly, even though the camera is photocentric, obviously you can do both photo and video, and I think this camera is gonna feature 6.2K video. And then lastly, as it comes with this new sensor, the base ISO will probably go down from 160 on the xpro 3 to 125 on the xpro 4. So let's get to the question, what is the xpro 4's goal within the Fujifilm lineup? I think the goal is to appeal to a fanbase that sometimes shoots film photography, but more often than not would like the ease of use of a modern camera. People that want to use the OVF instead of already knowing what the picture will look like when using the EVF. And then lastly, people that just really like the look of rangefinder style cameras, and I would also count myself in that category. I think a lot of people just enjoy using modern cameras like this, but at the same time being able to slow down the entire process and not rush things. Take in time composing this shot, choosing the right aperture, shutter speed and ISO for the job. Many people would write the xpro line off as just a camera that is used for street and travel photography, but honestly this camera can do so much more than that. To be honest, with most modern cameras, especially in the Fujifilm lineup, you're not choosing the right camera for a specific kind of photography, but more on where your preference lies, but you're still able to shoot any other kind of photography as well. A special thanks to Patrick from Fuji Rumors, as I get a lot of information for these videos from his blog. So if you want to find out more about Fujifilm cameras or just hear about some rumors, check out the link below in the description to his blog. You might be interested in what lenses Fujifilm will release in 2024, so check out this video right here.